time of the first press conference in Cardiff, I realised it was a different setup from what I had imagined. I now know things that I didn't know then, and I really do not want to go on. What was Toshak on about?
I'll tell you what I was talking about. The kit just didn't look the same. So I went back home to Spain. There's even a specially inserted tab on which some patronising git has embroidered the word Wales. And these thin little stripes are an absolute no-go. And they've overused the Umbro logo. I particularly dislike the green bit round the collar. Oh, sod it.
John!
What? What are you? I'm off.
No, John!
What?
John, you were meant to do the whole show.
No, I was going to do it, but I didn't like the crowd reaction, you see. I think they'd rather have the other bloke. I'm off.
Oh. What a disappointment. Well, hello. And welcome to Fantasy Football League. This week, our guest managers are Basil Brush and Roy Hattersley. We'll be reconstructing one of George Best's most controversial moments, and we'll be saying a big hello to Billy Bremner.
Hello, I'm Billy Bremner.
Hello! But first, a few things we noticed from watching football this week. There must have been some flooding at Old Trafford last Saturday, because halfway through the commentary for the United Charlton game, John Motson started to drown.
He's got Vaughan to beat now. Ryan Giggs. Oh, the goalkeeper outfoxes him.
Is that the goalkeeper or Blobblib?
Yeah, these East European surnames, they're bugger, aren't they? Anyway, and on Sunday, Barry Davies managed to find poetry in everything that Glenn Hoddle did.
Sheer class from this man.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah, Chelsea are doing all right, aren't they? At least they've sorted out what to do with Robert Fleck and Tony Cascarino.
And as Fraser Digby let 7 goals in for Swindon this week, a lot of people are wondering why substitute keeper Nicky Hammond isn't getting a game.
And now a special treat coming up from the semi-final draw. The camera spending just 2 seconds too long on Graham Kelly.
The draw. The semi-finals will be played on Sunday, the 10th of April. Back to you.
Couldn't you just watch that all night?
And of course, the semi-finals are going to be played at Wembley. All the TV pundits have had something to say about that. The only one we didn't really hear from was our own personal favourite, the bloke who does Match of the Day when Des Lynam's on holiday, Ray Stubbs.
Ray Stubbs, the bloke who runs in when Des Lynam is away.
So, Ray, you're the most agreeable man in sport. You're not one to take issue with anyone. Do you think these semi-finals should be played at Wembley? So there you have it. And now over to the man with the second silliest face in sport.
I've been asked to appear on Radio Stockport this week.
You're going to appear on radio? That's fantastic.
Modern technology, it should be very good.
Sometimes it's hard to be a woman.
With 12 fixtures spread over 5 days and some teams playing twice, it's been a tricky week for our Fantasy League managers. The lead has changed hands yet again, and heading the pack is this week's guest, Basil Brush. It was Newcastle's 7-1 thrashing of Swindon with goals from the previously hibernating Robert Lee and keeping it in the family Rule Fox, giving him a weekly total of 18 points. Roy Hattersley has slipped from his once lofty perch, but could still benefit from a late swing up the table if Ian Rush continues to display the sort of goal-poaching form he showed against Everton. 7 points from Manchester United's Paul Ince keeps Karen Brady hot on Basil's trail. But another slow week for Frank, who decided to ignore my advice to play Robbie Fowler. Fowler fired in his first Merseyside derby goal, which cost Frank 3 much-needed points. 2 2 goals and 2 assists from Eric Cantona helped Peter Cook to his best ever week. This Cantona assist led to a Mark Hughes special, giving 3 points to Franny's In City for Eddie Large. Roddy Doyle's faith in the much maligned Brian Deane was rewarded first with an assist to Gary Speed, then his first goal since joining Roddy's team. Deane scored another against Villa as Roddy amassed 18 points. Back at the foot of the table then, it's Mandy Smith, 9 points behind Andrew Ridgely, with Roddy Doyle at long last moving in the right direction.
Now listen, since the show started, loads of people have sent in teams they've put together based on sort of themes. You know, there's been a Baldy's team of players whose surnames are types of food. And someone here sent in a team, what he calls his expensive failures team. And we were going to get him on to discuss that, but unfortunately Liverpool sacked him. So...
But this week, Mr. Collins of Salford has tried to put together an Outlaws 11, and he's done all right with the attack and the midfield. There they are.
Yeah, you are sort of Diego Maradona for drugs, Rossi for bribery, the usual football stuff.
Yeah, but he says he hasn't been able to sort out the defence at all, so he's asked us to help. And we thought of, at right back, ex-Arsenal and England star Peter Storey for counterfeiting gold sovereigns.
There he is. Yeah, then at centre-back, we thought it could be Peter Storey for controlling prostitutes.
Then the other centre-back, what about Peter Storey for brilliantly smuggling pornography in his tyres?
Oh, I love that one. And at left-back, oh, go on then, Peter Storey.
Hey!
For best of all, in my opinion, headbutting a 67-year-old lollipop man.
Brilliant. Why would you want to do that to a lollipop man?
Oh, I think
don't tell
lots of
me
men
to
should.
stop.
Sheer joy.
And finally, the goalkeeper.
Peter Storey?
No, actually, for once.
What a letdown.
Very difficult this, to find a goalkeeper who's committed an offence, but we finally settled on Bert Trautmann, Man City's German goalie from the 1950s, because he used to be a prisoner of war. That's my whole team.
There they are. Fine side, I think. Anyway, where's the guest manager?
I don't know, let's see if there's any football on.
We might cast the after-match
So I've
interviews.
picked up the ball on the halfway line and I've looked up. Why did you ask me to stand in front of these boats to be interviewed?
We always interview footballers with boots in the background.
Why?
Well, it's because...
Oh, I wanted to know one! I wanted to know, because they always do that! They do! Anyway, who is he? It's Roy Attersley!
Hello, Roy.
Welcome.
Good to see you again.
Good to be here again.
How are you doing?
Badly in your league.
Yeah.
Not so well in the Premiership either for my team, but...
Oh, of course, Wednesday. Well, because the last time you were on, you were top of the league, and you were top of the league for 5 weeks, and we thought that's it's a sort of a Man United job, you'd stay there forever. What went wrong?
Well, the defence started letting goals in, and the forwards stopped scoring, and that's a formula for not doing very well
Yeah,
in
it
football.
Yeah, you've worked the rules of the game out.
That's a bad mix, really.
Yes, it's a bad mistake to let that happen.
Before we get into your team, you are, I hope you don't mind me saying this, one of the more senior managers in our league. And
Senior means old in polite programmes.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so while you're here, we thought we'd do another edition of a feature that a lot of people have asked to see again, and that is...
Old football was rubbish, old football just wasn't very good.
Yes, now, this is from the days when old jackets were rubbish as well. Just think this bloke was told that he was going to be refereeing the cup final and thought, oh, I know what I'll wear. Here he is telling the captains to make sure they're absolutely rubbish.
And this bloke here, he's starting to be a bit good. And the players are worrying a bit, but then his teammate thinks, oh, I'll compensate.
And they used to celebrate everything in this days. Here's a bloke, he's celebrating having his cross intercepted. And someone's celebrating his mate appealing for a throw-in.
Now, this isn't a penalty. This is just the defenders have said, oh, have a go, we don't care. There you go.
Still rubbish.
Yeah.
And even award ceremonies in those days were rubbish, consistently. Here's an award ceremony. They've won the cup, this team, and it all looks good, and then, oh dear.
Actually, he was so unimpressed by winning that cup, he just thought, I'll throw it away.
Now, Roy.
You're somebody who presumably doesn't agree with that view. I mean, we're just assuming, but you saw a lot of football at that time, and Perhaps you disagree.
No, football technically is far better than it was in those times. Because footballers can do things because they're fitter and they can do things because they're playing with a different sort of ball. As Stanley Matthews mentioned on there, said to me that he never caught the ball or tried to catch the ball on his chest between October and April because it was so heavy that it knocked him down.
Stato, you've got some Stan Matthews statistics on it, which are mind-blowing.
Well, he was the longest-serving England international, 22 years, 228 days between his first and last cap. Debut at 19, he scored on his debut against Wales back in September in 1934, and then Denmark came when he was 42. He still played internationally. He won everything in the game, apart from the first division. That was the thing that eluded him. Didn't win that first division.
I wish I hadn't have asked now. I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, there was a man on your clip who either was Tommy Lawton or had a Tommy Lawton haircut. It probably was Tommy Lawton. Yeah. And I think he'd have scored a lot of goals in modern football as well.
Were Tommy Lawton haircuts quite popular?
Because it was so simply done. You had the...
It was the old centre parting, wasn't it?
No, you had your shears up the side until you could see the boil scars on the back. The boil scars and of course, then you flatten the rest down with brilliantine or dripping or whatever.
And of course, you've based your look more on Charles Lawton, really. I'm sorry.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
It came into my head, and I'm sorry if I've said it now. Did you know that Stanley Matthews was also crowned King of Ghana?
I didn't know.
There you go.
That's the most surreal clip we've got so far. He was actually crowned King of Ghana.
It's true. He went to Ghana. Everyone says you're absolutely a great right-wing footballer, and not right-wing, but
you're absolutely right.
You're a great footballer. So how would you like to be king? And nobody does that.
Is that
now.
all that it takes to become King of Ghana?
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to be not rubbish, and they make you King of Ghana.
Apparently.
God.
But that might not be true. In fact, we've got an even more incredible, because apparently Stan Matthews, although he was a real gentleman, had a bit of a temper on him. And we've got a brilliant clip of him here, hacking to death a Portuguese left-back with a Gurkha knife. Oh! You wanted to see that?
That'd be great!
That's a brilliant clip, and now we'll just have to hold it back. What a letdown.
Oh, it's Paul Brush! Paul says this was on the doorstep.
I'll pass off the right. Well, open it.
I'll just leave. No, I'll leave it here till after the show.
Oh, okay. Please yourself. Well, welcome, Paul. Now, and for people who watch the show regularly will know, of course, that you are Basil Brush's assistant manager.
That's correct.
And are you any relation?
Only distant.
Right.
Where Basil's not around at the moment?
Oh, he's out scouting tonight.
Is he? For what? Exactly, for rats.
I'm not sure.
Poultry.
I see. And you still play, of course?
Just about,
right.
Yes. I'm playing for Haybridge Swifts in the Deodora League.
Haybridge Swiss?
Swifts.
Is that a sort of cake?
Swifts, you know, birds.
Birds.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Of course, Haybridge Swifts. Blimey.
Blimey.
And,
but you were a West Ham fan, player, rather. Oh, God, someone's gone crazy at the back. We've got West Ham fans in?
Just one.
You, mate, do you remember Paul?
Yeah, I met him at the... Oh. when I was a little kid, yeah. At 1980 final.
Do you remember that, Paul?
Yes, yes.
You remember meeting him? Your life must be full of that, Paul.